with this result that we just see from Canada, they eventually get over the line. Troy, do you think they were the better side in the game and deserved it?
I think they had, you know what? I don't think they were the better team. I think it was like 55% Canada and 45% South Africa. I thought South Africa played a very good game, what we've come to expect, very defensively resolute. Just don't have enough in the final third, unfortunately, to cause teams problems. Canada were OK for large parts of it. The game swung all in Canada's favour when Alphonso Davies came on. And I was saying, to bring the audience up to speed, I was saying here, when Alphonso Davies passes the ball, there's a different sound that you hear. You hear the boom, the thud in the pass. And just that crispness, that he hasn't got the pace, as you can clearly see he's like managed his way in. He never opened up and really got at the right back at any point, but the quality, the vision and the way that he was able to lend the pass, it just made Canada and all their players, you saw them go from, let's say, 85% and tired to 110%, and the main man's here, Superman's here to save us again. I thought Canada were good and deserved to go through, but South Africa could hold their head very high because they did a good game as well.
Yeah, I don't think you can disagree with that. I mean, the second half, clearly Canada took over. You bring in Alphonso Davies, you can see that injection of adrenaline for Canada. And then again, listen, in these kind of games, you make one mistake.
Yeah.
And the clearance, heading the ball back, we teach this at 8 years old. When you head a ball, you head it back where it's coming from. You don't head it to the middle of the field. And if you're going to head it to the middle of the field, it's got to go up, so it gives you time for your team to go out. He line drives it to the middle of the field, and Eustáquio says, thank you, we're going through. You know, that's 10 goals, by the way, for MLS players in this World Cup. But you can't head a ball at this level to the top of the box where there's a player standing by himself.
It was a great finish, technically as well. You know, the first touch, and then just to how many times do we see people hit that volley? Because the ball's bouncing up, everything he wants to go up, or you slice it, but he kept his body over it, waited for it to drop a little bit, and it's a wonderful technique. And a game truly fitting of showing that quality, isn't it? To be in a knockout stage, one moment of poor clearance, as you allude to, 100%, but one moment of real quality, and they win. And again, Jesse Marsch will probably be talking about, yes, we're through, it's great. He has to figure out the strikers. Again, my eyes keep going to it. And
he made all the subs, and Kyle Larin was still on the bench. So either something's wrong, or maybe he's not 100%. Because that's weird. You're 0-0 with even 20 minutes ago. You got to think to yourself, Kyle Larin, don't you?
Yeah, I would have. But you know, Promise Davis does a lot of running around, and he's big and he's strong. But just that quality to just be calm and hit the target. Yeah, really, I think Canada can cause people problems because of the way they press, because of the high intensity, now the quality of Alphonso Davies. But they're going to be the South Africa in the next game if they get Holland. You're going to have one or two chances. You have to finish. And too many times I've watched Jonathan David now, and the game passes him by.
Yeah.
For the talent that he's got and the ability that he's got, there's so many large periods of the game when you don't even know he's on the pitch. So I just wonder for Canada moving forward how they can address that. And maybe it is Kyle Larin's holding something, and then you have to bring him in on the next game. But
it doesn't matter. Look, we all got it one right. One for one. One for one.
He's pointing to your bracket. Pointing to your bracket.
Can we stop now?
We're done. We're geniuses. But, Marcelo, we were talking about it before the game. I'd be curious now that they have won. It wasn't at home because they couldn't get to this knockout stage as the host of this round of 32 match. If they won the group, they would have done. They win in Los Angeles. But for Canada, for the fact that they had not won a game at the World Cup before this tournament, what is the significance of this achievement in your mind?
No, this is huge for Canada, for Concacaf, because every time we go into the World Cup, people don't look at Concacaf as, oh, it's a Concacaf team. It's not that difficult. You know what I mean? So I think that if you look at Concacaf in general, this was a great victory for Concacaf, for Canada. Always more difficult playing on a neutral side, even though it was a little bit more home for them. You could feel the fans. But at the end of the day, listen, any win is a huge win when you're in the knockout phase. So you've got to do, I told you before, they were going to grind it out, they're going to be mentally tough, and they were going to push to the limits. And that's exactly what they did. And I mean, quality came, like Troy said, the quality came at the right time, at the right place to put this game away from their captain, from their leader. He put the ball away. But I hope this is that one game where Canada doesn't play well, you know, and still was able to win that game. and they get better, because you play like this against either Morocco or Holland, you're done. You got to be able to bring more than just that. To me, it was very predictable, very long over the top. They couldn't play through until Alphonso Davies came in, then a little bit to the outside, but it was very direct today. And I think that both teams will eat that up.
Yeah, also turn the ball over an awful lot in midfield. Again, that's an area of the pitch that if you control the midfield, you control the game, with or without the ball. And I thought both times, on both sides of the ball, Canada were pretty poor in midfield. I know captain ends up scoring, so to most people, who cares? But when you watch football and you've played as many years as we have, you start to understand, okay, you can win this game, but this can't continue in this pattern if we want to be successful. But listen, they got the job done. Yeah. We were a few minutes away from going extra time, penalties, and thinking, how long is this day actually going to be? But ultimately, got the job done, and they're through. It's historical for them. I think to the start of this, they hadn't won a point. Now they're in quarterfinals.
Round of 16.
Round of 16. Sorry, round of 16. Then the quarterfinals, because we had another round in, because no one else wanted to work anymore. But I just think it's a massive moment for them. And you saw the reactions of some of their crowd. This could have a massive positive effect on Canadian football for the next 20 years. This could be the US's 94. When you see you guys and what you guys did, so okay, I could achieve that. Oh, okay, I could do that. And because those games, not today, but the games before were played in Canada, you'll have a next 20-year generation of people going, I want to be that. So it's fantastic for football all around the world.
But you hit it on the head earlier, right? You said about England, doesn't matter how they play now.
Yeah,
they just got to win.
Get the job done.
And that's what Canada did. Listen, in our region hosting a World Cup, what it's going to do for Liga MX and Mexican soccer, what Mexico's doing now, is going to be historical. Canada doing the same thing. Right now, this is a historian year for them because of the fact that they're winning. They're getting in. They're lighting up their country. Everybody's looking at soccer now. So now in the United States, imagine you beat Bosnia. Imagine what that win is going to do for this country, putting them into the round of 16. You know what I mean? We've been waiting 32 years for the World Cup to come, and now it's here. Now we have to take full advantage of it, just like Canada does, just like Mexico does. This is huge for our region, not just the Americas, we're going to say here. This is going to be huge for CONCACAF.
Just to that point, sorry to interrupt, just for that point, do you have to play a big team? Obviously, you guys end up playing Brazil. Do you have to? No, just the win or how far you get.
Furthest we've ever gotten is a quarterfinal, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping to get to, right?
I think you'd also say that the U.S. are probably at a different stage of their development than Canada are, right? I think for the U.S., beating a big team is a big part of this. For Canada, I think getting to the last 16 was probably the goal.
No, but I was just going to say, because Canada now can play, Morocco or the Netherlands. I think for, again, the bigger picture, they play in Holland and having a good game against a historically great nation would do more for them than losing to Morocco.
This win is already huge. This win is huge. They got out of the group. That's huge for Canada, because this is their third World Cup, I believe it is, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And now they won their very first knockout game. This is fantastic for Canada. If this was in Canada, that place would be going crazy right now. The stadium would be packed. The whole team would be running around the stadium. They would be enjoying that victory. So just like the U.S., we've gotten out of the group and we lost. Winning against Bosnia is huge for us. Taking it into that next step, the round of 16. Then whatever happens from there, we'll see what happens. But a historical run for this country is needed for the United States, and if we're trying to keep growing the sport.
Okay. The U.S. and Canada took big swings with their managerial hires. The U.S. had to get some added help to get Pochettino. Canada, the Canadian Soccer Association, actually went to the 3 Canadian MLS clubs asking for money to help bring in a higher-level coach. They went with Jesse Marsch. What do you think this would mean for him in terms of his level of achievement? He's obviously such a character on the sidelines. He's a bit of a polarizing character. But for him, this is, I would suggest, vindication for his approach and how he's gone about the job.
Listen, there's no vindication. Things happen in jobs. Somebody offers you a job, it doesn't work out. I don't think there's bitterness anymore. I think he just needs to coach Canada, to be honest with you. He's doing such a nice job. They're doing something that they've never done in their history. So the whole thing about Jesse Marsch to the United States, yes, it would have been great, yes, but U.S. soccer went in a different direction. So that's over and done with. He's been with Canada now for, 2 years now, 3 years? He just got his contract extended. So at the end of the day, you're the Canadian coach, man. You should be enjoying this moment. not worrying about your next job. You've got to worry about pushing this group as far as they can go. And then you start looking at the next generation of kids that are starting to come up that can help, because you're going to have a rotation of players, players going in, players coming out. You've got to find that next under 20, the next 17, developing that youth to keep developing this team, because this team is at a point now where, yeah, we can say it's their golden generation, and now they're proving it, but where's the next generation coming from?
Yeah, and to that point, I think it's vindication for him as a coach, because we understand very smart. I think Grella was saying he's a Princeton guy, so he understands, life and people.
Yeah.
But also, every now and again, you get a job that fits you, a club that fits you, a country that fits you. And you can just see the intensity that he demands. These Canadian players are like, okay, we know the message. I'll run for a wall for you, no problem at all. They're winning everything now, and you've just spoke about obviously being American and that little issue. If they beat Holland or Morocco, there'll be a statue outside. Don't worry.
Yeah.
He's American. He's been very, very good. Again, I saw him briefly when he was at Leeds and saw what he did there. And I liked his principles. I liked what he stood for. But sometimes, and he's not the only coach, but we saw it like with Wilfred Nancy, sometimes understanding the UK media is very, very difficult, because it's all about win now. And I think his philosophy and the way he's grown as a coach over the last 5 to 10 years has been fantastic. And yeah, I like it. I still, again, one critique, I want to see them control a game. I want to see them in moments of the game when it's transition, go, oh, we just need a few minutes to catch our breath here, catch our bearings. But maybe, and again, I don't know Jesse Marsch, maybe that's where he's saying, signs a new contract. Yeah. We've won now, we've got the foundation. That's what we build on for the next World Cup. Now we start to identify players in the U20s that can do that.
Yeah, but there's coaches that are built to coach national teams. They're not with their kids every day. They're not with their players every day. And there's guys that are built to coach club teams. They want to coach every day. When you look at Jesse, I think Jesse's built to coach national teams, only because his message of how he bites, you can't have that for a full year. Players get, they get drained. It's emotionally draining. So I think when you talk about a national team and you find a coach, I think this is a great fit for Jesse, coaching national teams, because then he loves working with the youth. He loves going out and scouting. He loves looking for other players. So I always look at there's two different types of coaches, club coach and a national team coach. And I think Jesse's he's done a great job with Canada.
And they get it done. And one of the things that you guys mentioned earlier was the performance of Alphonso Davies when he came on. We kind of wanted to show you sort of graphically the way that the game may or may not have changed when he came on. Let's take a look at the momentum chart that we have from this match. And guys, you just kind of talked about sort of a different sort of touch in class. You kind of see there towards the end of that second half. It is right around that period that he comes on that Canada have a bit more of the game in their favor. You see them in that purple there. You mentioned sort of that touch of class, the way that the ball comes off his foot differently. What did you see in the way that Canada performed when he came on versus the 75 minutes that preceded it?
Honestly, the only way to describe it is like when I've got young kids, so when I come home after a few days trip and they go, "Oh, Dad's back," and everyone's happy. That's what
the wife runs.
Oh yeah, he's already out the door. But it was that. It was like they knew their main player was back, their hero. Yeah. Look, put the talent to one side. The amount of injuries this young man's had, and Bayern Munich still keep him. Bayern Munich have all the money in the world. They can replace him and go get somebody else. Speaks to two things. Clearly talent, also the human being. He's great. It must be great around the place. Must be really connective with like the staff members you don't see. The kitchen people, the security guards. They all must love him because he's emotional intelligence. Because when you get injured once, you go, okay, it's once, no problem. Yeah. When you get injured twice, you go, oh, wait there, am I breaking? This guy's been injured for probably on and off for 5 years, and hasn't been able to reach that limit. But to keep having the belief, to keep doing it. And what I saw on the pitch was not only did they just give him the ball, just his intelligence to go, okay, I'm not going to sprint at the full-back all the time, so I'm going to drop a little bit deeper. I'm going to get the ball, and now, as the defender's coming to me, I'm going to slip the ball down the side. He puts a lovely reverse pass from the left-hand side into the striker. I haven't seen anyone in the World Cup do that yet, because everyone's played too safe and left and right. He went, no problem, wrap it in there, because I can't run like I want to at this moment in time. So his intelligence and his footballing ability is fantastic. And again, anyone who gets to listen to it, you hear the passing, and it's like you can hear people's noises, but when he passes, boom, there's a thud. And that's when you know you're with real footballers, because it should go boom, 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 boom. That means someone's took a touch, passed it again. And when he came on, everyone was like, OK, Daddy's home now.